What if the darkest prison is exactly where unexpected freedom begins? What if human control reaches its limit and something beyond it steps in? And what if a locked door is not the end of a story, but the beginning of a miracle? At a time when the early church was growing and spreading, pressure against it also began to increase. What once started as quiet resistance had now turned into open opposition. King Herod began to arrest some who belonged to the church. His actions were not random, they were strategic, meant to suppress the growing movement that was spreading through cities and hearts. Among those targeted was James, the brother of John. He was put to death by the sword. This moment carried weight. It was not just a loss, it was a warning. And when Herod saw that this pleased certain groups, he proceeded further. He arrested Peter as well. This happened during the time of the festival of unleavened bread. So Peter was seized, placed under guard, and handed over to be guarded by 4 squads of soldiers. 2 soldiers were assigned to each shift, and Peter was bound with chains, sleeping between them. The intention was clear. After the festival, he would be brought out for public trial. But what seemed secure from a human perspective was not the end of the story. While Peter was in prison, something else was happening outside. The church did not remain silent. They prayed, fervently, continually. Together. There was no visible power in that room, no political influence, no physical strength, just collective prayer. And that matters more than it may first appear. Because while Herod relied on guards, chains, and locked doors, the church relied on something unseen. The night before Herod was set to bring him to trial, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains. Guards stood at the entrance, ensuring no escape was possible. From a human standpoint, everything was controlled. But in moments like this, control is often an illusion. Suddenly, something happened. An angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. The appearance was not gradual, it was immediate. The angel struck Peter on the side and woke him. "Quick, get up," he said, and immediately the chains fell off Peter's wrists. No struggle, no delay, no resistance, just release. Then the angel gave another instruction. "Put on your clothes and sandals." Peter obeyed. Still disoriented, still trying to understand whether this was real or a vision, he followed step by step. "Wrap your cloak around you and follow me," the angel said. Peter followed. But he did not yet realize that what was happening was real. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the 1st and 2nd guards. No alarm was raised. No resistance occurred. Then they came to the iron gate that leads to the city, and something remarkable happened. The gate opened by itself. There was no key, no guard, no mechanism. It simply opened. They went through it and walked down one street, and then suddenly, the angel left him. Peter was alone, and only then did he realize what had happened. "Now I know without a doubt," he said, "that the Lord sent his angel and rescued me from Herod's clutches and from everything the Jewish people were anticipating." It was only in reflection that clarity came. Sometimes understanding follows experience, not the other way around. Peter then went to the house of Mary, the mother of John, also called Mark. Many people were gathered there praying. This detail is important, because while Peter was physically outside prison, others were still in prayer inside a house. When he knocked at the outer entrance, a servant girl named Rhoda came to answer the door. When she recognized Peter's voice, she was so overjoyed that she ran back without opening it. She announced, "Peter is at the door." But those inside did not believe her. "You are out of your mind," they told her. When she kept insisting, they said, "It must be his angel." Meanwhile, Peter continued knocking. Eventually, they opened the door and saw him, and they were astonished. Peter motioned with his hand to quiet them and described how the Lord had brought him out of prison. "Tell James and the other brothers and sisters about this," he said. Then he left for another place. After Peter's escape, in the morning there was a great commotion among the soldiers. What had happened? Where was Peter? Despite careful guarding, despite chains, despite watchmen, he was gone. Herod ordered a search, but Peter could not be found. And those responsible faced consequences. But beyond the immediate events, something deeper was unfolding. This story is not only about escape, it is about contrast. On one side there is human authority, guards, chains, prisons, commands. On the other side there is divine intervention, light, release, guidance, and open doors. Peter's situation shows the limit of physical control. No matter how secure a system appears, it has boundaries. But prayer operates beyond those boundaries. It does not rely on visibility. It does not depend on physical presence. It moves in a different dimension. There is also something deeply human in Peter's experience. He is asleep in prison, not panicking, not resisting, not fighting, sleeping. That detail matters because it shows a level of surrender or peace even in confinement. And then, when freedom arrives, it is gentle at first, not chaotic, not destructive, but structured, step by step. Get up, put on your clothes, follow me. Each instruction is simple, yet essential. Freedom is not only about breaking chains, it is also about walking through what opens afterward. Peter had to move through guards, gates, and streets, not just out of prison, but into a new stage of understanding. There is also the response of the praying community. They were actively seeking intervention, but when it came, they struggled to accept it. This reveals something important about expectation. Sometimes people pray for change, but are surprised when it actually happens. Rhoda's reaction contrasts with the group inside. She believes quickly, they doubt slowly, yet both are part of the same community, and that tension reflects a familiar human experience. Belief and disbelief often exist side by side, even within the same space. Peter's arrival challenges their assumptions. It forces a confrontation between expectation and reality, and in that moment, astonishment replaces doubt. Another key aspect is timing. Peter was rescued not before imprisonment, but during it. Not during early stages, but on the night before trial. This highlights that intervention often appears at what feels like the final moment, when pressure is highest, when options seem gone, when outcomes appear fixed, and yet that is often where change occurs. The sequence also shows coordination, prayer on one side, action on another, release in the middle, each part connected without visible explanation at the time, but clear in hindsight. Peter himself does not immediately understand everything. He thinks he is seeing a vision. Only afterward does clarity come. This reminds us that not all experiences are fully understood in the moment they occur. Some only make sense when reflected upon. There is also symbolism in the gates opening on their own. What is locked by human systems can be opened without force when conditions change beyond those systems. Peter does not break the gate. He does not force it. He walks through what opens. That distinction matters because not every barrier is meant to be broken. Some are meant to open, and recognizing the difference is part of wisdom. After his release, Peter does not remain in one place. He moves on, which suggests that deliverance is not the final destination. It is a transition from confinement to movement, from limitation to continuation, from waiting to action. The story ends not with celebration in prison, but with continuation outside of it. Peter goes to another place. The movement continues, the message continues, the story continues, and that is perhaps the most important part, because what happens to Peter is not only about him, it is about a larger pattern. Opposition rises, prayer rises, intervention follows, movement continues, and the message spreads. So what does this mean for us? It means that circumstances are not final authorities. It means that systems have limits. It means that timing matters. And it means that unseen support often works in ways not immediately visible. It also means that responses matter. The church prayed, Peter obeyed, Rhoda believed. And through these responses, something extraordinary unfolded. This story is not only about escape, it is about alignment between belief, action, and timing. And when those align, outcomes can shift in ways no one expects. Thank you for watching this video. If this message gave you a new perspective, don't forget to like, follow the channel, and share this video with someone who needs encouragement today.